a Utah YouTuber who claimed to offer help to parents in raising children. Now she's charged with child abuse.
Here she comes to wreck the day!
I just want to see if people get excited because they see my face. I'm showing my face. Hello. Hi. It's me. I had to put on makeup because I did a interview with Fox 13 in Salt Lake City.
Oh, so much to say about that interview. But I'll just say I think it is hilarious that Fox did learn their lesson. After the backlash they got, which I'll get into a little bit later, they probably blocked Katie Joy's number. So when she calls them and begs them to interview her again, they won't have to deal with her. I know other creators have already pointed this out, but in their write-up with that interview, they first identified Katie Joy as a YouTuber and independent journalist. And then once they realized who she is, they changed it to another YouTuber. Don't mind my eyebrows, I lost them due to an infection. Katie on July 18th when the people who pay her bills were expressing concern for her. I don't have MRSA, I don't have staph, I don't have cellulitis, I don't have skin cancer. Thank you for your concern, now fuck off.
I had a staph infection.
Katie on July 18th. Please let me be clear. I have had a staph infection before. Staph does not improve on its own and needs antibiotics. I dealt with staph a couple years ago on my finger and it's nothing like what I'm dealing with now.
I had a staph infection.
It's still there. There's a nice big scar. I lost all of my eyebrows. I'm sorry, I don't have a lot of eyebrows. These are the worst I can do. I have 0 eyebrows. I don't pluck, Shanna. God, you're a dumbo.
So Katie Joy did this live and showed her face for the first time in, I don't know how long, it wasn't long enough, because Ruby Franke was arrested and it involves child abuse, and that is Katie Joy's favorite topic to discuss. Yes, Walter, it's sick, isn't it? So I'm going to play some of what she had to say.
The first count actually includes physical torture. So I had a hard time reading it. The malnutrition for the 2 children was so severe, their lives were in danger.
Do you see how Katie Joy licked her lips there while talking about child abuse? Remember when she made a whole video about when Jeremiah Duggar licked his lips and how it was gross and immature and crude and how that meant he was basically like Josh Duggar and a pedophile?
We're going to share more pictures of the wedding and more video.
I noticed what Jeremiah did with his tongue and I was like, Jeremiah, could you just act like an adult right now? Josh would be kind of crude like that with Anna. I thought the tongue was just really immature. That's why I said it was gross. When she said the marriage, and as soon as she said that, he did the thing with his tongue.
You are doing this with your tongue while you are talking about child abuse.
Count 3 is for the emotional abuse of the injuries causing developmental or emotional harm, severe developmental delays or intellectual disabilities, or severe impairment of the child's ability to function. Any such physical injury includes any combination of 2 or more physical injuries inflicted by the same person. Ew, is this another Josh on our hands? And there was 2 or more physical injuries caused to EF as a result. Ew. They're in protective custody with DCFS. And DCFS will never say where the child is located. And no family member should be telling the public where the children are, because the children are in protective custody because they are victims of a crime. So their location should be really none of our concern, other than the fact that DCFS has them in protective custody, meaning that they're being, this is like...
Poor Katie Joy being burdened by having to explain even the simplest things to us morons who don't have her superior high Q.
Protective custody, just to give you sort of an understanding, there's another case that I've done in the same county, and it's children that were kidnapped, and in the FLDS, And those children that are in protective custody are not with the family.
Are those the same kids where you doxed their safe house?
They're in protective custody. They're being cared for as victims of a crime. They are not with their father. Please refrain from using their full names in the comments section.
Yeah, don't dox the child victims, guys. Leave that to Katie Joy so she can dox them like how she doxed the Turpin kids' social media.
Yeah, I know that their last name is Franke. I mispronounced it. Thank you for your snarky comment.
Well, I see she didn't learn how to not be a raging while she was gone. All they said is their last name is pronounced Franke. There was zero snark in that, but Katie Joy takes everything as an attack.
They're both charged with the both Ruby and Judy are both charged. Ruby. I keep saying Ruby. Ruby.
Why does she struggle so much pronouncing people's names?
Jeffrey Charles.
They don't avoid the draft like Donald Trump. To Jason Delarose, what you say? Donnie Depp's going to appeal. Bailey Sarin.
I mean, I struggle pronouncing things too, but I'm also not out here trying to pretend that I'm this world-renowned celebrity journalist.
I actually am a reporter, so you can fuck off.
If your only reason to come onto my live is to correct how I'm speaking and to make comments as though to start drama when we're literally talking about children that have been abused.
Yeah, guys, stop ruining Katie Joy's fun while she talks about her favorite topic. You're making this less enjoyable for her.
You can exit this live and find something to do with your happy time. I'm discussing children that have been abused. And I did misspeak earlier in my video and said Frank instead of Frankie. But guess what? The news reporter at Fox 13 in Utah, in her report yesterday, she also called her Frank. So there you go.
Because it was probably her first time ever hearing of this family. You made a few videos on them 2 years ago, so you were very familiar with them. She also said that she didn't want to cover them because they were irrelevant to her. But now that it's a big news story and everybody's talking about it, she's covering them again because she's a greedy little pig and she's only doing it for money and views.
When I made the video yesterday, I knew during editing that I'd already mispronounced her name. I knew it was Frankie, but for whatever reason, I just kept saying Frank because
I'm just so stupid.
The maximum is 15 years in this case.
And we all know from the Josh Duggar trial that Katie Joy is an expert at knowing maximum sentences. I mean, she's basically literally a lawyer.
He is going to be going minimum 25 years.
That is not accurate.
He is facing 20 years as a mandatory minimum.
Mandatory minimum of 5 years in this case. Maximum potential exposure of 20.
It's 20 years per charge. One of them has a mandatory minimum of 20 years.
I would put my sights after trial in that kind of 10 to 15 realm.
No, mandatory maximum is no. The maximum is 20, but the mandatory minimum for Josh is 20.
Somebody's saying I thought the mandatory minimum was 20 years. I don't know why you would think that. No, the maximum is 20. The mandatory minimum on these counts is 5.
The minimum was 20 years.
For nonviolent offenses, mandatory minimums are not that high and would never be in the 20-year range and aren't on this. So whoever reported that is inaccurate and does not understand the way that this all works.
She can't even keep it straight when talking about the same case in the same live.
The maximum is 15 years. They can only be sentenced to a maximum of 30 years. Life in prison in Utah is 5 years to life. It's very weird. Kevin did not have very good reviews as a professor. Let's just say a lot of people called him an asshole.
Let's see what some people called you in the comments under that Fox interview. There are so many of them. I just picked out a few of them. I'll start with mine because I left several comments. I said Katie Joy said she can't wait to get older so she can actually harass young boys. I also said she called her own special needs son a murderer. Google is your friend. Use it next time before interviewing awful YouTubers like KJ. Katie Joy from Without a Crystal Ball is not reliable. This is gross that you even spoke to her. Vetting sources is job number 1, you guys. Please, Fox 13, Katie Joy Paulson is a toxic, malicious liar. She abuses her child and husband herself. She says her son is medically fragile, yet keeps the cat's litter trays in his bedroom and constantly shares his bed. Says he needs a feeding tube, but he can eat Cheerios. She has been sued multiple times and is currently being sued. She's a liability, and you do yourself no favors having her on and associating with her. Don't highlight one case of abuse while enabling another. Are you effing kidding me? Katie Joy, she is awful on so many levels. You really should have spoken to Dad Challenge Podcast or Jordan and McKay or Marky. Without a Crystal Ball is not credible. These children deserve better coverage than this. Yes, they do. She is a joke. Fox, please do better with vetting your sources next time. KJ Paulson is a nasty, evil woman. For once, that nasty woman, Katie Paulson, can't control the comments being left by deleting and blocking, and the truth is being heard. That is one good thing about this interview. Katie Joy can't build an echo chamber like she likes to do on her channel. Well, it's more proof media are lazy these days. Ick. I wouldn't believe a word that YouTuber said. Isn't she known for stretching the truth any which way and stalking people to gather personal info for YouTube views? Yes, she is. There were a lot of comments asking why Katie Joy was smiling and laughing while talking about child abuse. Why is Katie Paulson smiling when she talks about this family? Why can't she look in the camera? Fox needs to do their research. Katie Paulson has many similarities to Ruby Franke. Why does she laugh when talking about Ruby's cruel punishment to her son? Is this the voice you really want to give your platform to, Fox? Is it now funny that the poor child didn't have a bed to sleep in for months? Why was she smiling describing abuse? I don't think child abuse is funny, but maybe that's just me. There are so many questions. The reason she laughs and smiles while talking about this kind of stuff is, in my opinion, because she's a psychopath. She lacks basic emotions that people feel when it comes to these kinds of topics. She has said so herself that CSA does not bother her.
I was covering child sexual abuse quite a bit, and I got so desensitized to it that I would like read these articles, and I was like, or like child torture, where like parents were arrested for torturing their kids. Yeah. And I found myself like reading these articles and being so detached from the outcome, and they're describing like really graphic things. Yeah. And then like having my readers being like, oh my God. And I'm like, why didn't I have that reaction?
She has a strong pattern of laughing or smiling while talking about very disgusting topics and very heart-wrenching topics because they do not bother her. She said so herself. I've included several clips of these in my previous videos. I don't want to include them all again. I'll just show an example here of when Josh Duggar was arrested for looking at child pee. She smiled while talking about it.
It wouldn't be photos from the past, it would be photos. Images.
This is a very well-known clip, but she has also said that she can't wait until she gets older so she can sexually harass young boys.
You know what I really look forward to? When I get old, I want to be the old grandma that like sexually harasses the young boys that walk by. I don't even care. Because I feel like when you get that old, you have earned the right.
To me, this is the most disturbing thing about Katie Joy Paulson.
Block, 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 block. I just want to put this in your shoes. Josh Duggar committed crimes, okay? Do we hold his sisters responsible for what Josh Duggar did?
Katie, you do blame the sisters.
Jessa hasn't said anything publicly, hasn't put anything out publicly, and when asked about him by a reporter, her comment is just prayers for Josh's family. I don't know why this disappoints me.
And speaking of the Duggar girls, even though you claim to be a supporter of women in cults, you recently instructed all of your followers to not support the women of the IBLP. Make that make sense.
If you have a niece and a nephew that have been tortured, the last thing I would be thinking about is uploading content onto my YouTube channel.
Remember that time Katie Joy's son's shunt malfunctioned due to his constant use of the iPad? And after he was in excruciating pain for 3 days and vomiting for 3 days, she finally brought him to the hospital. They fixed it, and then when they got home, the very first thing Katie Joy did was go on a live and tell the entire internet all about her son's issues.
Monday night was brutal. Puking everywhere, headaches, so much pain. He was in so much pain. Then it just got progressively worse and worse. Tuesday night, I got him to not puke as much, but then we woke up this morning and it was like he still couldn't open his eyes. The shunt is like this tiny little bump that sits on the top of your head. Helps your cerebral spinal fluid like sift through your body. If you get too high of pressure in your brain, it can actually cause really bad problems. And it can lead to brain damage and death. We have no idea how this happened, but somehow his shunt program, which sits on the top of his head by a magnet, it changed settings. When it goes in between and it doesn't actually land on the setting, the valve is wide open. Fluid is just flowing out. So his brain was like really dehydrated.
Someone says, please read my DM.
I will check my DMs, Colleen. I'm actually, I'm on a live stream, Colleen. I don't know if you know this, but when you're on a live stream, you can't check your DMs. All right.
Is this Katie Joy using the OK symbol? Because by her logic, that means she's a white supremacist.
The OK sign has been deemed a hate symbol by the Anti-Defamation League in 2019. And it was done so because the symbol has been used as a symbol of white power by white supremacists since 2019, because white supremacists sort of took it on as a troll and thought, oh, well, I'm going to use this now. And it's been documented and used by known white supremacists. It's been deemed a hate symbol.
Instead of trying to insinuate someone's a racist, I'd be more concerned about why my hair is so off-kiltered. Like, seriously, how does it get that bad? That's off by like 4 inches.
Why about yourself?
Yeah, this case is really sad. Yeah, the details are horrible. Just think good thoughts for the kids. They have a long road of recovery.
Wine and Adderall are kicking in.
I'll just continue to keep you updated. Stay out of the rumor mill. Just focus on the facts.
The woman who's been sued 5 times for defamation wants to remind us to focus on the facts. I think it's interesting that the 8 Passengers Snark Reddit has banned people from posting any content from Katie Joy. Do not post content from the Without a Crystal Ball platforms. Due to the controversy and questionable ethics surrounding this influencer, we are not allowing their content to be shared. I believe she's also banned from the Duggar Snark Reddit. Nobody wants to deal with your Katie. Katie Joy is not the person to be covering these kinds of topics. In my opinion, she does not care about children. She does not care about other women. She cares about herself. She wants to be famous. She wants money. She wants views, and that's it. She has a history of saying very disgusting things on the internet, which makes her a horrible person to be talking about this kind of stuff. She saw a picture of a toddler eating a pickle and it was sexual to her. She's overly obsessed with men's crotch areas. She focused on Jeremiah Duggars in his engagement picture. In a recent photo of Cody Brown holding his grandchild and feeding them, she saw that also as sexual in nature. She has a perverted mind. She should not be talking about CSA.
I'm going to stretch out the hymen. We're going to put in 3 fingers. Put our fingers in your vag for 45 minutes. Stretch open the hole. Part of me thought she was just being bratty. Like she would just go from crying to fine, from crying to fine. And it reminded me of when my son pitches a fit. Digitally penetrating. What do you think that sounds like? You put your fingers up the genitals of a 5-year-old girl. So you rape a child by sticking your fingers inside their genitals. This has to do with what's in her past and what's on her page. And like, can you really be an advocate for children when this is the stuff that's on your channel?
I just want to give a shout out to Llama Girl and Ballz on Instagram. I can't do anything on my Twitter because it was suspended this summer because either Katie Joy or one of her followers reported my account, but I can still view stuff, so thankfully I was still able to get most of these clips from Llama Girl. Llama Girl and Ballz are the rock stars of the community. They keep us all up to date so well on Katie Joy shenanigans. I don't know how you ladies keep your sanity following her stuff because she's just too much sometimes. And then I want to give a shout out to my members, Rena Rue, Catherine B, Ninja Girl, Normal Bird Lady, Leah, Deb Hunter, Crafty Flaw Lady, Camping Mama, Country Girl Brenda, and Erin. Thank you guys so much for your support. And thanks to everybody for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.